我们先敬礼，传承祖师。
Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus.
了明和尚
Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming.
敬礼，萨迦正空上师。
Homage
敬礼，
to Master Sakya
六
Tsongkhong.
祖大宝法王卡玛巴。
Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa.
登大吉上师。
And homage to Master Dubden
我
Dorji.
们敬礼，坛城三宝。
Homage to the three jewels of the altar.
今天同修的本尊。
Homage to the main deity of the group practice
大
today.
慈大悲。
The greatly loving and compassionate
观世音
our Lokitesvara Bodhisattva.
师母，丹增嘎
师
措
母
图登西地。
Tanzan Gapzo Tutan
各位
Siddhi.
上师、
All
教
Dharma
授师、
masters, Dharma
法
educators,
师、
Dharma
讲
teachers,
师、
Dharma
助
lecturers,
教、堂
Dharma
主，
assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all
还有网上
disciples
的同门，
present
大
here
家
and
晚
over the
安，大家
internet.
好。
Good evening, everyone. How do you do?
你好，大家好。愛してる。사랑해。Hola amigo。Que quiero mucho。스코인。一番。気持ちいい。주미。야비。ブリンブリン。こんばんは。刚刚有这个请法仪式，那么也
We
有
just had the Dharma invitation ritual
散花舞，
and also the dance of the goddesses who scattered
这个
flowers.
一定要讲维摩诘经
So we will
啊，那个字
expound on the Vimalakirti
是
Sutra.
读作集，还是读作
So the character in
读
Chinese
作结啊？
should be pronounced as
那我们
Jie
以后
or
就
Jing
记
or
得
Ji.
要念维
So in
摩
the
诘经
future,
啊，
we
维
would
摩诘经。
pronounce it as Vemo in Chinese,
这个缘
Vemo Ji.
起啊是这样子的。这个有一天，当我这个讲完《金刚经》的时候，很多
The
弟子跟我讲，
start of
这
this
个
is that when I finished
继续
my exposition on the Vajra Sutra, many people
那佛陀的经典
asked me to
非
continue
常的多，
talking about the sutras. And the Buddha had spoken on many, numerous
所
sutras.
谓三藏，
So the three Pitaka, the 12
三藏
divisions,
什么叫三藏
and？the three
一个是
baskets,
心藏，
and the three Pitaka or the
一
three
个就是
baskets
律
include
藏，
the
一个就是
discourses
论
or
藏。
sutras, the treatises,
那么经
and
是
the
释迦牟尼佛
Vinaya
所
or
说，
precepts. The discourses or the sutras
是
were
释迦牟
spoken
尼
by
佛
Sakyamuni Buddha, and the
传
precepts of
下来的
Vinaya
戒律
were also
论，
left by
是
Sakyamuni
后来
Buddha.
的圣人，
But the treatises or the Abhidharma
他们由经里面所发挥出来的，
were
所有
the
的论
development from the sutras. that were done by later people. So those are the treatises. So they are also the so-called Tripitaka masters or masters of Tripitaka. Masters, or actually Dharma teacher, is very precious. Those are teachers who master the Dharma. So you are well versed and comprehend the sutras of Sakyamuni Buddha, then you're called the masters of the sutras. And if you comprehend the precepts of Vinaya of the Buddha, then you're called the master of precepts. And if you can comprehend all the commentaries, compendiums, and treatises of the sages or gurus, then you're called the master of the treatises. And altogether, they are called the master of Tripitaka. So you call master if you understand or comprehend the Dharma. But nowadays, in this modern world, as long as you shave your head and become ordained, you're called a Dharma teacher or a reverend. But that's not necessarily so. So it has been degraded. Now it's a very watered down. So just by being ordained, you become a Dharma teacher. But actually, they don't understand Buddha Dharma. Do you understand the sutra, the treatises, and the precepts? You don't. So if you don't, you cannot be called a Dharma teacher. So this term, Dharma teacher, is very precious. You're not supposed to be called Dharma teacher just by being ordained. But nowadays, everybody calls them Dharma teacher as soon as they are ordained. However, you should only be called a Dharma master or Dharma teacher when you comprehend the Buddha Dharma. So that's the discussion. That's the commentary on it. So as people kept asking me to expound a sutra, I had been thinking about it for about 1 week. Which sutra should I talk about? And Vimalakirti, the great master Vimalakirti, entered into my dream. I had a dream. He entered into my dream and told me, why don't you talk about Vimalakirti Sutra? So it was he who told me to expound on Vimalakirti Sutra. So I asked him, where did you come from? And his answer was like this: Grandmaster Lu, are you still that dumb? And I said, I don't know. I don't know where you came from. And then he told me, as long as your mind is pure, I will be there. What he meant was that he doesn't come and he doesn't go. As long as your mind is pure, then he will be there. This is a very important statement. Please remember it. So, where are the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? When you are purified, then the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will be there. This is a very crucial statement. And the great master Vimalakirti also told me there are many people who say different things about the name of the sutra. Vimalakirti Sutra. Some people say Vimalakirti Nirdesa Sutra. And also Vimalakirti Sutra as spoken by the Buddha. And the Inconceivable Sutra. And the Inconceivable Sutra of Dharma Gate. So many translations into Chinese. And also the sutra spoken by the taintless one. And also the Inconceivable Sutra of Liberation, to enter into the Inconceivable Sutra of Liberation. There have been many names to it in Chinese. And then he said, but Grandmaster Lu, why don't you give a name? Why don't you create a name for it, a new name for it? I had read the sutra in the past, so I thought about it, and I said, Vimalakirti, the sutra of Vimalakirti, playing in the world. And upon hearing that, he said, that's pretty close. So the sutra of Vimalakirti playing in the world. So it's like a game. People nowadays love to play games. It's rather mundane. So I said, the sutra of the Dharma King Vimalakirti's transformation power. What do you think? And he said, excellent. So I asked Vimalakirti, so if you name your own sutra, what would you call it? So I asked him back, what would you name this sutra?
他回答
And he replied,
零零零零零经
No, 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 no sutra. Nil, 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 nil
这样不
sutra.
是没有名字吗？
Then there's no name.
他说所有一切的经名啊，
And
全
he
部都是
said,
假名，
all the
没有
names
真
of
实
the
性。
sutras are false.
所
There
以他
is no
真正的经
reality
名
to
是
it.
零零零
So
零
the
零
real
经
name of the sutra
零
is the
，zero
Sutra of
zero
Zero.
zero zero
Zero,
zero。
zero, zero, zero.
我一听啊，
When I
这个
heard that,
zero 才是最了不起的。
this zero is the most incredible
因为它包含了一切，它完全是
because
包含了一切。
it encompasses everything.
零零经，那就是动动经啊。
The Zero
什
Sutra
么叫动动？
or the
动动
Thing
也就是
Sutra,
零
the
零。
thingy. Thingy means zero
以前
or
我
nil.
们这个当兵的时候啊，当军人的时候，我们
When
讲
we were
零啊，
in the
就是动。
military, when we set
所以
zero,
我们那个连啊，叫做五八动二测量连。
we call it Dong.
五八动二是5802测量连。
So the survey team
数日58动二
was
测
numbered
量连。
5802, but instead of calling it zero, we
以后我
call it
们称
Dong,
这个
which
维
is
摩
like
诘
nil.
经叫做动动动动经。
So in the sutra,
零经。
we just call it the nil, nil,
所以我
nil,
们
nil
讲的经
sutra.
典的名称很多。
So this sutra has many names.
那我们谈一点，这个经啊，本来是梵文。
So let's talk about it a little bit. The sutra was in
翻译的人
Sanskrit,
就是鸠摩罗什。
and the translator was Kumarajiva.
鸠摩罗什呢，
And Kumarajiva
谈他啊，是一个真的是很伟大的、很伟大的一个。
is a truly
这《阿弥
amazing
陀经》也是他翻的，他翻很多
one.
经典，
He had translated many sutras, Amitabha
也是
Sutra,
他翻的。
the Lotus Sutra,
金刚经也
the
是他翻
Vajra
的，
Sutra or Diamond
心
Sutra,
经也是
the
他翻
Khat
的。
Sutra. He
那
translated
么他
all
的父
those.
亲呢，是
And his
叫做
father
鸠摩罗燕，
was called
他的父亲叫鸠摩罗燕，
Kumara
是在中印度中天图中天图的人，
from the central area of India.
他很有知识，很有学问，
Was very educated and knowledgeable, and he loved to travel.
鸠摩罗燕呢，他就是
So
到
Kumarayana
世界各国
visited
去行脚，去游历，
many countries,
游历到了龟兹国，
and he
龟兹
went to
国
the kingdom of Kucha.
跟龟兹国的这个国王，知道他是一个善知识、有
And
学问的人，跟他谈论了以后，很佩服，
and they were
就
great
把自己
spiritual
的
companions
妹妹
and had a
龟
nice
兹国
discussion.
王就把自己的妹妹
So the king of
嫁给
Kucha
这个鸠摩罗燕，
married his own sister to Kumarayana
生下来的小孩
and gave birth
就
to
是鸠摩罗什。
Kumarajiva.
鸠摩罗什出生到了
Kumarajiva
7岁的时候啊，他就出家，
became ordained when he was 7, and he was born very intelligent.
古代这些聪明的人，一目十行。
And we describe them as they can gaze and read 10 lines and remember them all. And he was capable of such thing.
过目不忘。出家以后啊，他好像就像一个圣人一样。
He became a monk, basically, ordained
那个时候啊
monastic member.
虔诚苻坚是苻坚的时代，大家晓得吗？苻坚，中国历史上的苻坚。
苻坚
60万大军下江南。
In the
是60万还是80万？
Fujian, the Emperor Fujian, in the China's history, went to the south of the river. Do you remember? Was it 800,000? Leading 800,000 army? Are you sure?
哇，整个中原地区都是。
So the whole central area belonged to him. So Fujian, one night, saw, looked at the 4 directions, and in the west, he saw a ray of light appearing in the west.
那个时候啊，这个苻坚觉得就请这个。
So at that time, Fujian asked a divinator, a person who could do divination, and asked what is the meaning of that ray of light.
那时候叫做什么？观天文的太史观啊，这样子给他一看。
like an astrologist or divinator, did the divination and said there is a sage in the west. And which kingdom? The kingdom of Kucha. So Fujian sent Lu Guang to befriend the Kucha kingdom and captured Kumarajiva, held him hostage, and brought him back. And then he went to Chang'an and focused on the translation of the Sutrayana Sutras. So that was a history about how the translations came about. During the Tang Dynasty, the monk Shen Ching also went to the West, which is India, to study Buddhism. And what he studied was Yogacara, or consciousness only, which is called the Dharma school nowadays, or the Eastern Yogacara school. He went to Nalanda University in India to study Buddha Dharma. And upon his return, he's called the master of Tripitaka, Shen Ching, which was also very famous. So, and Shen Ching also did translation. Like Vimalakirti, the name Vimalakirti was translated by Kumarajiva as pure or immaculate name. So a pure name. That was translated by Kumarajiva, but by Shen Ching, the translation was the name as undefiled. So the sutra by the taintless one was translated by Shen Ching. And the translation of Kumarajiva was through the meanings. So he translated the meaning. And Shen Ching, master, translated the words of the Sanskrit. So one translated the meanings and the other one translated the words. So by understanding the meaning of the Sanskrit word, he translated the meanings. That's why his translation was more readable. But Master Shen Ching translated the words word by words. So it's like a literal translation, not the meaning translation. But the translations of Kumarajiva were mostly translations of the meanings. So the result were different. So literal translation and meaning translation are two different things. Therefore, the translation of Kumarajiva were more translations of the meanings, and the translations of Shen Ching were more wordings or the literal translations, word by word. So before my exposition of the sutra, I should mention about the translators of the sutras in Chinese, so that you understand, so that you know. Buddha Dharma is truly unexcelled and unsurpassed. There is no Dharma higher than the Buddha Dharma. It's really the highest. So when I write my book number 291, my prologue was about the Vimalakirti entering into my dream and the dialogue that we had. And the title of book number 291 was The Transformation Power of the Dharma King. And I will also mention about the inspiration and insight that Vimalakirti gives me. He gives me lots of insights and inspiration, and I gain so much from it, from them. And I write them all in this book. So this book is not about things inside the Vimalakirti Sutra. However, instead, it is about the guidance and the insights that Vimalakirti is giving me. It's called the transformation power or transcendent power of the Dharma King.
Let
me share a few jokes. Before we talk about the main subject and nobody laughed. And now let me share a few jokes so that you can stay awake. The patient told the nurse, "Nurse, did the doctor ask you to give me a sleeping pill?" And the nurse said, "No." Well, if you don't give it to me soon, then I would fall asleep. With what's going on with the pandemic, there are many jokes about it. It's related to the pandemic. By getting the vaccine, some people died suddenly. There are quite a few cases like that. And if you don't get vaccinated, you die from the infection. And by watching the news every day, you feel so upset. If we continue the lockdowns, then you would die from poverty. And the schools are closed, and the kids are so bored to death. And locked inside the house without work, you would die from hunger. And you're just waiting for death. Waiting at death. And then if you don't get any supplies or support, you would also die. And if you just eat and sleep and stay at home, then you would be so fat. Pandemic is really troublesome. Many students were discussing the books they like to read. And Ming asked, everybody in my family loves to read. My grandma reads health books, and my grandpa reads about humor. My dad, my mom reads about self-help books, and my dad. How about your dad? My dad is a CEO, and he just likes to read secretaries, but in Chinese, secretaries is also like secret books. The teacher asked Ming, "Why are you late?" And Ming said, "I was helping someone." "Oh, really? So you're doing a good deed?" And Xiaoming said, "Yes." He lost $500 and he had no money to go home. So I loaned him $200 NT dollars. And the teacher said, "How come you know that he's not a liar and you just give him money, 200? Oh, because I picked up a $500 bill, NT dollars bill.
好了，现在进入你问我答。
Now we'll get to the Q&A.
这个把肌肉
Question from
是少
Brazil.
肌的地方啊，少肌就是碰到人就讲少肌。
It's the place where you greet each other with Saoji.
是联合问的。
Question by
联合上师问的。
Master Lian He.
他还有问题啊。
He has questions.
最敬爱的师佛，佛爱。
Most beloved Guru Buddha, peace be with you. Your disciple Lian He wholeheartedly pay homage to you, and we are very grateful to you to resolve our questions every week and to lead the light, to guide us.
成立的真亲会。
We have established the youth group of True Buddha School.
有很多世界各地的年轻人加入
which has members from all around the world, and some of them have not taken refuge yet, and they do not know much of the True Buddha Tantra. However, they are generally very interested in meditation. Master, in order to guide these young people, is it okay to teach them meditation directly? And of the various True Buddha meditation methods, which ones should we teach the younger generation in this era? Thank you for your advice. We wish you stay healthy and live a long life to stay in samsara. So young people like to learn meditation. Okay, let me talk about meditation then. Actually, Sakyamuni Buddha the three non-leaking studies spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha are the precepts, wisdom, and meditation. Precepts is to abide by the precepts, and meditation, wisdom, refers to the wisdom of the Buddha or Prajna. Prajna, wisdom, not just the ordinary or knowledge. That's different from wisdom. Or the wisdom that most people refer to are just knowledge and cleverness or intelligence. But wisdom in Buddhism is different. It is considered the prajna, is to teach you how to generate bodhicitta and how to apply and put into practice bodhicitta, and lastly, to have attainments through the bodhicitta, which is the Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, to have the attainment of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Only that is the wisdom spoken by the Sakyamuni Buddha. And about meditation and precepts, is something greatly emphasized in the upper court of Buddhism. Later on, Buddhism was divided into the upper court, which is the methods that the Buddha taught to the arhats, that they strictly abide by the precepts and meditate every day. That's the spiritual cultivation in the upper court, which greatly emphasizes spiritual cultivation and meditation. And the lower court emphasize both meditation and wisdom. So which meditation method is better? It's very difficult to say, because every person is different. As we know. Why do we want to meditate? Primarily is to train in concentration. And Lao Tzu also once said that if you can be single-minded, then you can accomplish everything. If you can be single-minded, you can accomplish everything. So if you can be totally focused and in concentration, you can resolve everything. That's spoken by Lao Tzu. And Sakyamuni Buddha also said that a mind concentration can accomplish everything. So in modern school, if you focus on one thing and go deep into it, then you would succeed. But if you are distracted or scattered, then most of the time you will not have any accomplishments. So, as ordained people, the worst taboo is laziness, indolence, procrastination. It's the worst trait of the Sangha. Of the 6 paramitas or 6 perfections, one of them is diligence. And diligence in giving, diligence in abiding by the precepts, and diligence in the diligence especially, and diligence in endurance, diligence in meditation. And also for wisdom, that you have to rely on diligence to train and study in order to have wisdom. If you renunciate and become ordained as a monk or nun, and you have the title as a Dharma master, and yet you're very lazy, that's quite shameful. And you're just stumbling along. That's really quite shameful, unacceptable. During the time of Sakyamuni Buddha, he doesn't like people who are just stumbling around, just trying to get by. that the diligence in the 6 perfections is applied to all the other perfections, to all the 6 perfections. So if you are just stumbling along or getting by in your studies or in your ordination, how can you do that? You're just waiting for your death, and then at such time it would be too late. The only strength of Grandmaster Lu is my perseverance, persistence and perseverance and willpower. I have no skills, but all I have is my assiduousness and perseverance. That's why I could complete all these books and have produced all those paintings and have accomplished some things, some Dharma works. If you have been ordained and yet you're just getting by, then you're just mundane people, then you should just return to a mundane life. You're not monastic people. So you're just in the future, you would go to hell, and the Yama King would beat you 500 beatings so that your behind is split open. So if you become ordained and yet you're still lazy and just getting by, that's really shameless. I really look down on that, and even though I know this, I usually don't say anything. You know for yourself. Grandmaster is very diligent in his spiritual cultivation. I work very hard in my practices of the Qi channel and light drops, that I truly attained the non-leakage when I was in my 40s, that I had the fruition in my non-leakage practice. So today, in talking about meditation, I would like to tell you, for young people, since you are interested in Buddha Dharma and meditation, first of all, you need to be diligent in your training of meditation, how to be focused and in concentration. Any methods will work as long as you can concentrate. So many methods there are so many methods. So in the beginning, we talk about the counting of breaths, so you can focus on your breath. Your concentration is on your breath until you reach that you forget about your breathing, then you're in meditation, then you are in concentration. That's called the visualization of breath counting. That's the first method. Just pay attention to your breathing, inhalation and exhalation. You have to meditate every day. Becoming ordained is not just a job, that you just change your career path. That's not the case. And you think that, there's something to try. You just push. If you're not interested or you're not capable to do something, then you just push it back. You don't do it. Or you just drag it. You drag it for half a day or a day or a week or a month. I just drag. That's the second of laziness. And you can't drag it any longer. You pull someone else to replace, to take your place. Push, drag, and pull. Then your face is really very thick. Instead, you have to study everything and you have to focus in doing everything. So you have to train in counting your breath. So that first. So breathing in, breathing out, and you pay attention carefully to your breathing. So one inhalation and exhalation, second inhalation and exhalation, 3 inhalation and exhalation, and you keep counting until you're focusing on the breathing, and you continue to train to focus on your breathing until eventually you forget about your breathing. Actually, normally, we also not aware and forget about our breathing. But in order to make your mind to concentrate on one point, you focus on your breathing. This is very important. This is important. So you use your breathing as a point of your concentration, and you just focus on your breathing and don't think of anything else. Sometimes when you're in full concentration, the qi inside your body will expel the potential of the qi. In the practices of channel qi and light drops, there are 2 important points. One is to inhale the qi or breath. So you breathe in more than breathe out. Then you would have oxygen inside your blood. When you have enough blood oxygen, all of a sudden your channels will be full of qi, and your channels would be free from blockages and free open free. Recently, there are several disciples who have their central channels open, like the one who just left today from Singapore, Lianhua Li Fei. Her central channel is open. And the one from England, the lion head, her central channel is also open and flowing. Also disciples from Taiwan. I would just give these 2 examples. So the qi is flowing freely. And why? Because you can be very focused. When your central channel is open, sometimes you would feel warm all over your body because your qi is already very full and robust. And when qi is moving inside the central channel, you would experience bliss, which is called the lasting great bliss. It's very important when you have attained this lasting great bliss, you would be happy every day. You know that you have gained a treasure, that you have attained this, the treasure of the energy or qi, vital energy, qi. And because qi is full and robust, and you would become luminous and you would be able to see lights. And when you see lights, eventually you would reach a realm that the yidam would appear amidst the light. And you merge with the yidam, and yidam merges with you. And then in the future, you would gain spiritual union with the yidam. First, you experience bliss, and then you would emit light, and lastly, from the light, amid the light, you would gain spiritual union with the yidam. And once you gain spiritual union, at any time you are the yidam. This is a tantric dharma. This is a dharma practice in Tantrayana. But you started from concentration and single-mindedness in meditation. If you still have lots of thoughts and overthinking in the mundane affairs, it's impossible for you to meditate. You still have desires for fame and wealth and looks and sex. It would be impossible for them to enter meditation, because all they think about is money or fame or looks, and all you have in your mind is garbage. Too much garbage inside your brain. All this garbage, that's all you think about, days in, days out. And you love to eat, you love to sleep. That's why we say there are 5 roots in health: wealth, sex, fame, food, and sleep are the source for health. Love to eat, love to sleep, and lazy. Sleep too much. You sleep from morning to night. Morning sleep to the afternoon, and from afternoon to night. So you sleep day and night. And so you're like a dead pig. You're not even a live pig. When you wake up, you eat. After you eat, you sleep. After you sleep, you eat again. So in the future life, you would become the boar. In Taiwanese, like the huge boar, which is like the biggest pig in the competition. Sometimes they have such competition at the village temples, and pigs biting on oranges, you would become like a huge fat pig. You just sleep and eat the human nature, human desires, and money, sex, and name. These two are the 5 greatest desires in human life. The less the better. And next, when you train in meditation, you count your breaths. Then he asked me, so as a novice, you should count your breath. You keep counting until you forget about it because you're in full concentration. When you're totally focused on your breathing, then you're single-minded. That's a very good method. So I think counting breath, counting your own breath, is a very good beginning method of meditation. And you can also do the eyes watching the nose and the nose watching the heart. So that's my answer to Master Lian He.
眼观鼻，那么眼睛半眯着，不是合起来，合起来你就会睡着。你必须要半开的。
So the eyes should not be totally closed, then you would fall asleep. But slightly open,
你呼出来多长
and you focus on your breathing, and it has colors, and how long you breathe in, how long you breathe out. It can be balanced, or you breathe in longer than breathing out.
然后去数这个呼吸。
So you observe and count your breath. Then you would concentrate and throw away all the garbage from your brain, from your mind.
还有第二个问题。
And the second question
马来西亚
from Malaysia.
罗华国问的，关于禅定是有很多方法，但是
Asked by Lu There are many methods to meditate, but Grandmaster is only talking about the counting the breath.
马来西亚弟子罗华国向师佛顶礼，问题发菩提心。
Asks questions about bodhicitta generation.
1月30日的开示
On January 30th, 2022, Grandmaster said, you need to generate bodhicitta no matter which Dharma practice you do. Some fellow disciples said that before a Dharma practice, prior to the purification mantras, we do the visualization of the 4 immeasurables, and that is the same as bodhicitta generation. So, therefore, there is no need to add it during the practice. Another fellow practitioner said that each mantra chanting or the Buddha's name is the same as generating bodhicitta. So there's no need to add it during the practice. And then another one says that if you understand the meaning of bodhicitta, then you have generated it and complied with it. So you can skip it in your practice. Yet another one said that if one has made a vow, a great vow, such as one will attain Buddhahood only after hells are empty, or forsaking oneself for the sake of other sentient beings, that is the same as bodhicitta generation. So we can skip it during the practice. So, according to what was said by fellow disciples, does it mean that we have to skip it in the practice? Wrong thing. Yeah. Let me tell you, this is all garbage, what all these people are talking about. You have to generate bodhicitta no matter what you do. How can you not generate bodhicitta when you do your Dharma practice? So whatever you do should be related to bodhicitta. So what these disciples were saying were
一概全呢，
really
做了
dumb.
什么就是要发菩提心，是修法的时候不用发菩提心，做了什么就不用修法就不用发菩提心。
So it's like when you do this or you do that, then you don't have to generate bodhicitta anymore.
答案就是这两个字。
That's so rubbish. That's the answer. Rubbish.
简直
Utter
是 bullshit。
rubbish. Bullshit.
真的，每一件事都要发菩提心，
You have to
任
generate
何个事情都要回
bodhicitta
向。
in each and every thing you do, and you need to dedicate the merit in whatever you do
发菩提
too.
心，
You dedicate the merit for
任
the
何一个法都要发
bodhicitta,
菩提心。
and you need to
哪
generate
有修
bodhicitta
法的时候
for
不发
each
菩提心修法的？
and every Dharma
什么是菩
practice.
提心？
How can you skip
一
it?
切的善行
What
都
is
是菩提心，
bodhicitta? All good deeds are considered bodhicitta.
一切的善都是菩提心，
Anything good is bodhicitta.
一切的善念都是菩提心。
All good thoughts are bodhicitta.
修法的时候不发善念吗？
So
当然也
you
是善
don't
念啊。
generate good thoughts when you do Dharma
你坐
practice.
在那里修法，
Of
你要
course,
观想你的父
when
系
you
亲人、
sit
母系亲人，
in your Dharma
父系的
practice, you
亲人、
visualize
母系的亲人，
relatives and
后面的
ancestors from your
恩人
father's
师长，
side,
前
from the
面的冤
mother's
亲债
side,
主，六道
friends
众
and
生，
teachers,
一起
enemies
发
and
菩提
coming
心。
creditors, and
去
all
修法，
sentient beings
你修法是
together
为了六
generating
道众生修
bodhicitta.
法的，怎么可以
Because
不
you
发
do
菩
your
提心？
Dharma practice for the sake of all sentient beings. How can you not generate
任何事
bodhicitta?
做任何事情都要发菩提心，
So no matter what you do, you should
就
generate
是一
bodhicitta,
切都是善念。
so that everything is related to good thoughts and good deeds.
跟马来西亚罗国华讲，这些同门所讲的，
So what this
全部
Lo
都是放屁。
Hua Guo from Malaysia said about what all the disciples
我已经
said
讲了，
were
每一个
all
法绝对要发菩提
shit,
心，
all
任何
crap.
法都要加上发菩提
I
心
have
的。
said it, right? That you need to
已经讲了
generate
嘛。
bodhicitta no matter which Dharma practice you do.
甚至于做任何事情都是发菩提心的，
And
无为而为。
in
我不是为
addition,
什么？我
whatever
不是
you
为
do,
钱
you
做的，
generate bodhicitta. You do it without condition.
我不是为
You
名
don't
做
do
的，
it for money, for name,
我也不是为什么利做的，
and
不
not
是。
for any benefits or gains.
菩提心是无为而为，
Bodhicitta is
我不为什
unconditioned.
么而做，
You do
但是
it for
都
no
是一切
reasons
善
at
行，
all, but they're all good
那个才是真正的
actions
菩提心。
and good thoughts. Only that is a true bodhicitta.
哦，10:30。
10:30 already.
有男人去问神，
A man asked
酒跟
God,
女人必须放弃其中一样，
so if we have to let go
应该如
woman
何放
or
弃？
wine, which one should we
这
let
神
go?
回答，
And the
要
God
看年
replied,
份。
it depends on the year.
有一个男的
A man
去跟介绍所的一个女的，男的讲：“你能介绍个女
went to the
朋友
dating
给我吗
group and said, can you introduce a girlfriend for me?
回答：“好，
A
我
woman
试
for
试
my
看。
girlfriend?
你要什么样类型的
And he said, okay, I can try. ？”
这男的问
What kinds do you like?：“
要眼睛大大的，
Big eyes,
要睫毛长长的，
long
要
eyelashes,
双腿细细的，要双峰齐
slim
挺。
legs, and
这
and
中介就讲了，那我介
upright
绍
boobs.
骆驼给你。
And then the dealing service said, how about a camel?
眼睛大大的，睫毛长长的，双腿细细的，双峰挺挺的，就是骆驼了。
That's a camel.
好，今天讲到这里。Om Mani Padme Hum。
非常感谢法王圣尊莲生活佛宝贵的法语开示。礼赞寺有以下佛。